Hi, this is a second in a series of tutorials on the IfThenElse widget. In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at the gating capability of the IfThenElse widget. And what this means is that gating is like a floodgate, and if a certain condition is met, then the IfThenElse widget will let through values coming from another input. So let's take a quick look at the example. So here we've got two analog ins, one which is used to judge if the condition is true or false, and the other one which is a set of values coming in. And you can see that they're affecting the then. So when we're in the false situation, we're outputting just this straight 0. But when we're in the true situation, here, what we're outputting is the values from the other input, this analog in that I'm manipulating right now. So this is super useful in physical computing projects where you want one condition, say a switch, say someone steps on a floor mat switch. And when that floor mat switch is stepped on, then values coming from another sensor, say another person who's turning a knob, those are able to come through and say adjust the volume on some audio. So that's what's happening here is these values here streaming in from the second input are allowed or gated. The gate is open and allowed to go through when this condition is met and we're in the true situation. When it's in the false situation, the values are not allowed to go through. That is, the gate is closed. All right, so let's take a closer look at how this works. You can see here that the first analog in is named input 0, 0, our kind of standard value for an input. But the second analog in, it has a name of gate feed. In other words, it's feeding values to the gate. And then in our IfThenElse widget, over here, you can see that the input source is set to input 0 as normal. But the input gated true is set to gate feed, that is listening to this second analog in. Clip control is simply listening to the output of the IfThenElse, which is called IfThen here. Okay, so by setting that, we have our widgets set up in the right configuration. And then the one other thing we need to do is when the project is actually running, we set the then. Normally, by default, this would be set value, which is what we have over here. But instead, we set it to gated. And then this is the name that we typed into the input gated true parameter. So we select that. And now, as we saw before, when we become true, whatever values are output by the gated feed are output. All right, so, and we can do the same thing on the false end. So if I simply select the IfThenElse widget, and I look over here to gate feed, if I set the true one back to not set, but set the false one to, so I put that in, and then we launch the project once again. And now we're going to set this back to set value and say we'll set that to 0, but we'll set the else condition to the gate feed. Now when we run it, we're allowing the gate feed to go through when we're in the false condition, but when we're in the true condition, the gate feed is not allowed to go through. Of course, it would be possible to have both set up. So let me just copy this and make another one. We'll call this gate feed 2, and then we'll make the true condition gate feed 2. And now, if we're in the false condition, this one is output and controlling the clip control. If we're in the true condition, then this one is let through. I did something wrong. Oh, I have to set it here. So now this one is output. Okay, so that's the gate capabilities of the IfThenElse widget. Thanks.